Dogs trailed Tech 20-0 at one point here at historic Grant Field. But Hudson Mason and Todd Gurley just hoisted the Dogs on their shoulders, Scott. That was a heck of a fun guy.
I just hope it's not that close today.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I hope you are right. Todd Gurley, 4 touchdowns that day, including 2 in overtime. Our Dogs and Jackets renew the rivalry today at 12:06. And for diehard Georgia fans, this segment is becoming like it's really a Thanksgiving tradition, kind of like your own slice of Saturday morning pumpkin pie from the Napa Tailgate Show servers. We call this NLTT. NLTT, never lost to Tech. Scott Howard, Eric Zier, DJ Shockley are here to take you through a smattering of Bulldog players who never lost to Tech.
Well, this is DJ Shockley, and I have never, ever lost to Tech.
This is Eric Zier. I never lost to the Bees.
Aaron Murray, Francis Tarkington, John Lastinger, Jake Fromm, never lost to Tech.
James Brown, Reggie Brown, Marlon Brown,
Thomas Brown, Flying Fred Brown, Norris Brown, never lost to Tech.
Corey Allen, Arthur Lynch, Sanders Cummings, Cornelius Washington, NLTT.
Fernando Velasco and Bakari Rambo, never lost to Tech.
Rantavius Wooten, Paul Oliver, Trey Battle.
Oh, young Jay Black is in on this thing too.
Bob Kelly, Steve Kelly, Gordon Kelly beat the Jackets every year.
Brad Johnson, Keelan Johnson, Charles Johnson,
Andy Johnson, Michael Johnson, Corey Johnson, never lost to Tech.
NFL veterans John Jenkins of the Dolphins, Alec Ogletree of the Bears, Sean Williams of the Atlanta Falcons.
Never fell to the dreadful Bees.
Savars King, Orson Charles, and neither Mike Bobo nor Tim Bobo ever lost to Georgia Tech.
Kwame Gathers and Robert Gathers.
Who else never lost to Tech, Scott?
Well, Pat Dye, Jimmy Vickers, Charlie Britt.
Bulldogs All-Star talk show host Josh Brock never lost to Tech. Freddie Gilbert, Eddie Meat Cleaver Weaver, undefeated versus the Jackets.
David Pollock, Ben Watson, Greg Blue, Martrez Milner. None of those guys ever lost to Tech.
Clarence K., Dale Williams, Dale Carver, Sean Bailey.
Never lost to Tech.
DJ Jones, Jarvis Jones, Brian Jones, and Nick Jones. Chuck Jones, Sean Jones.
Jake Scott, Happy Dix, Tommy Lawhorn, Wayne Radloff beat the Jackets every time.
Neither Larry Kahn in the 60s nor Dick Kahn in the 70s lost to Georgia Tech.
Kirby Moore, Bill Stanville, Edgar Chandler.
Superstar NFL players, my dudes, Thomas Davis and Terrell Davis, never lost to the Bees.
Neither did the greatest of them all, Herschel Walker.
Nor Buck Bellew, Lindsey Scott, David Green, Fred Gibson.
Frank Ross, Chris Welton, Terry Hogue, NLTT.
Mark Stewart, Ronnie Jenkins.
General George Patton, Kent Lawrence, DeAndre Swift took down Tech every single time.
Billy Payne, Warren Gray, and Jimmy Harper.
0 losses for any of these guys to the North Avenue Trade School.
Hines Ward, Bryce Hunter, Robert Edwards, Stan Dooley.
Gordon Eli Kelso, Bobby Etter, Brandon Couture,
Dax Langley, Don Golden, Cannon Parkman, kickers all, NLTT.
Dozens of my old teammates, including Brandon Tolbert, Adam Meadows, Philip Daniels, Travis Stroud, Randall Godfrey, Whit Marshall. We were Georgia Tech's daddy.
What about my guys, Z? Max Gene Gillis, Ryan Schnetzer, Dan Emmett, we just call him the Big Cheese, Chester Adams, Sean Bailey, Leonard Pope, my boy Tim Jennings, so many more. We all own the Jackets.
Nate Taylor and Tony Taylor, Gene Tootle and Marvin Tootle never lost to the Ramblin' Wreck.
Our Scottish-Irish Bulldogs, Brian McClendon, Chris McCarthy, Chris McCraney, Nate McBride.
Guy McIntyre, Pat McShay, Donnie McMickens, and Rhett McGowan.
Unbeaten versus the Bees.
Now, we're not making this all up. None of these Georgia players ever lost a varsity game to Tech.
There are probably another 100 or more lettermen from Georgia who never lost to Tech.
And like we said, that's just the short list of Bulldogs who went their entire varsity football careers without ever losing to the Yellow Jackets.
And here's the exclamation point. You're going to love it. The youngest living Yellow Jacket who can make the counterclaim of having never lost to Georgia in his 4 or 5 letterman years at Tech is at least, wait for it, at least 79 years old. At least. That means the last 4-year Georgia Tech players who can claim to have never lost to Georgia are the same age or older than Paul McCartney, Joe Biden, and Mitch McConnell. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Radio Network.